Hello. Some of you may know me. My name's John Klesnick. I'm the founder of Bonnet Pro, of CT6 Encapsulation Cleaners World, and I've formed a new company called MiniMax Carpet Machines LLC. And what we're going to be doing now is separating the MiniMax machine from Bonnet Pro. So this will be our offering for our cleaning industry, and I want to go over some features of why this is so different from anything else that's on the market. So let's talk about quality and some of the components, and I'll show you some of the differences of the build quality and what you're going to get as a professional cleaning contractor from a MiniMax unit. Let's start with some simple things. This is an ordinary pigtail cord. It has a fairly inexpensive ground, you know, the kind that break off after a few months of using them. It's a folded plug, and it's got some fairly cheap few cent connectors on the end of it that are just crimped on. The plug we're going to be using is a hospital grade plug. A step below this would be a German engineered industrial plug. The hospital grade plug is the best plug you can buy. You will not break this. The production model will be illuminated, and if you see this red ring, there's a piece of steel that's folded around the cable here. So when the casing is molded on, it's not just the casing gripping the cord, you'd have to pull out this steel ring as well. So it's almost impossible to separate the cord from the plug. So these are very durable. I can get these for half the price of these. Plus, if you look at the wire, the cheap cords use a 12 gauge. I'm sorry, the cheap cords use a 14 gauge. We're using a 12 gauge wire. We're using a much heavier wire, so that puts more current to the motor, helps the motor last longer. The other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be using not only these crimpable connects for the wire, but they're also heat shrunk and glued. So these don't come off. These are 35 cents. These are a couple pennies each. So they're a much better, just everything on this machine is superior to what you're going to get on a commodity machine that comes in overseas or a lot of these cheaper US made machines. Everything, our hardware is stainless. This is a nylon insert nut. So once this is fastened on, this isn't going to come apart. It's not going to vibrate off. It's not going to, 6 months down the road, you're going to have loose components on the machine. Our axles, which are 3 on the machine, these are stainless steel. So we're not going to have rusting issues. Just again, best quality components you can get. One of the supports for the main handle is also stainless steel. So this takes leverage from the handle and dissipates that energy onto the axle. So when we lower our handle, it's like a piece of solid metal. It doesn't vibrate, it doesn't shake. It's a very sturdy system that's very comfortable to operate. Our front sprayer, we use a low drift sprayer. This is also a dripless mechanism. And so when you go from a carpet, if you're in a commercial setting, across a tile floor to another hallway that's full of carpet, you're not going to drip across that hallway. And if you want to change the tip, you'll simply pull out the washer, change the tip. This is a number 4. You could go to a number 3 if you want less moisture. You can go to number 5 if you want more moisture, if it's dirtier, and you simply twist it back on. Everything on this machine is designed for the commercial carpet cleaner in mind. Take another feature. So on the pigtail, that's going to connect to your power cord. We're going to be using a 12 gauge cord, a very heavy, very expensive cord. And what that'll do is that'll provide you good current. And we use this locking system that once you connect this to the plug, this doesn't come apart. You have to release this. So you don't have any S hooks. You don't have to tie the cord in a knot. This is just an excellent way to connect your power source to your machine. So let's go over and look at the machine itself and see some of the advantages it has. So on previous models, the handle clamp was this piece. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. Look at that compared to the bite force of the new model. It's got such a greater clamping area. It's got better contact, and it's just superior in every way, which means there's less friction and effort you need to put onto the handle, so this lasts longer, and you just get a very superior movement in the machine. Now, if you want to lower it to your favorite position, you can adjust this ring, put it just where you want it, so every time you lower the machine, it goes to your favorite position, and you don't have to fiddle with it each time you set up for a job, which makes your life easier. You'll notice here, again, stainless steel, the U-bolt stainless, the washers, the nut, the acorn nut, that's all stainless steel. Even this clamp that prevents the handle from going too far is stainless. Let's move to the front of the machine. If you look at the first prototype, which is my machine I use when I go cleaning, you'll see that the apron doesn't come down very far, and there was a big gap here. So we've corrected that on the pre-production unit. We still have the stainless steel bracket that's flexible and bendable with the dripless front sprayer. The decals on this are not only reflective for at night, but they're also have 2 mil clear laminate over them, so they're going to be much more durable than a regular decal would be. If you zoom in here, everything on this machine is just above average quality. Stainless steel caps, there's rubber bushings on either side. This handle won't move, it won't squeak, it won't vibrate. There's rubber bushings between the handle support and the axles on the stainless steel axle. Stainless steel hardware here again for your bumper wheels and your door wheels. We still have the never spill feature, so no matter what position your machine is in, when you go to lean it back, this will always stay in the upright position. I've changed the angle on this so you're less likely to get an air coming into the tubing here. And what is so nice about this is when you go to change a jug, you take the jug to the sink and you fill up the jug. You don't have to take the whole machine with you. You're not pouring water into a tank, a shampoo mounted tank on the handle, which is overflowing onto the carpet, overflowing onto the machine, which is a shock hazard. You can have a number of these. You just insert it, it's like a cartridge, and you drop in the cartridge and your machine is refilled. It's very easy, it's very convenient, and you're not going to splash water or overfill or have a spill on the machine or the area around the machine. We do put a filter here. Let's see here. Our pump will operate, and I'll turn this on in a second, will operate down for continuous on and up for momentary. So you have 2 selections on how to operate your pump. So let me show you something exclusive to this machine, which is on the pre-production we had cords coming out of here. On the what will be the production machine, we had a custom Y cord made, and what that does is it's 2 less wires up in the tiller, so it's easier to maintenance it should you ever need to. It's much neater. And down here, again, this is still pre-production. There's a couple things I'm going to address as I move forward with the way I set the cables. But what it'll do is, now this pump's dry, so it's gonna sound weird, it's gonna sound loud. But if I turn on the pump, you get an illumination. Okay, the reason for that is if your machine doesn't spray, what went wrong? Is my wiring wrong? Is something happened in here? Did my ground come off? What's the problem? If I know I'm getting electric down to this cord and the pump's not working, it either didn't prime or maybe it's time for a new pump. The beautiful thing about this is not only does that work as a diagnostic, but 4 bolts and this pump is off and you plug in a new pump. It's very easy to operate. Previous machines you had to hardwire them. This one you don't. And it's the same setup with the motor. If I tilt this back, we're going to get a green light. You'll see how quiet the machine is. As I tilt this back, you get a green light, tells you it's operating. And again, that will work as a diagnostic that if there's an issue and the machine's not running, if I have power down to that, it's not my fuse, it's not my wiring, it's not my outlet, it's most likely the motor, and it helps you determine what to do. And again, this is plug and play, so I have 8 bolts that are stainless steel, and you would pop off the motor and pop on a new one if needed. The other thing I do with this is I silicone the base. If you can get in close, that keeps water from running underneath of it, so this metal component doesn't start to rust, and then we have stainless steel hardware as well. So all powder coats are not created equal. This is a superior quality powder coat. It's chemical resistant, it's fade resistant. It's a much more durable, expensive product than the run-of-the-mill powder coat that you can get just to slap paint on. A couple other features you'll like about this machine is I put a kick plate on here. So when you go to pull the machine back, you put your foot here. So that's not going to wear off your powder coat. It's not going to be a sore spot on the machine for you or your customers to look at. It's just another quality detail feature. The wheels are precision sealed bearings. These are from wheelchairs. They roll beautifully on any hard surface, whether it's concrete or tile. They're soft, they're smooth, they're quiet, and it's a pleasure to push this machine. It doesn't bounce and vibrate. It's wide enough that the machine's not tippy, where you're going to have to worry about it tipping over on you. And again, we have a stainless steel axle back here. A unique feature of this machine is I put QR codes. So if you do have an issue, you can get the MiniMax owner's manual from the QR code right to your cell phone, or if you want to reorder supplies, you can go right to Bonnet Pro and reorder your supplies there. Another feature I put on here is, let's say you're putting your handle back and you dropped it. Well, there's a rubber cushion here to prevent it from going too far, from damaging the wires or pulling out any wires or tubing. So there's a safety stop in here, and I'm going to just drop this, and you're not going to damage anything that way. So I've tried to think of everything possible to make this a wonderful experience for you guys, to make it a premier piece of equipment for your cleaning operation, to give you something that's durable, that's quiet, that's enjoyable to operate, and that when you take it into your customer's location, they go, wow, that's a neat piece of equipment. That's not something I can rent at the hardware store. That's not what the last guy brought in. You brought in something professional, and it increases and improves your image. So let's move this to an area. I'll do a little cleaning with it real quick, and we'll see what you think. Thank you. When I do my cleaning, I only use professional world-class products like Surround's Omega Citrus with industry-exclusive AFT, which helps prevent rapid resoiling, oily binders, and biofilms with its functional protein. It's a natural polymer. The other thing, it smells great. Your customers will love it. They'll be glad that you use it, and you get excellent cleaning results from a neutral pH cleaner. The Ironman bonnets, I spent 7 years developing. We have our unique Ironman yarn and our exclusive treaded design. And what that allows is for penetration in the carpet. If the bonnet's completely flat, it'll float on top. This is thick enough that it's a true two-sided, not like the terry cloth bonnets, which are very thin and they bleed through almost immediately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray that first. I'll put down the bonnet. But notice the never spill feature. This machine's laid back. I don't have to adjust the handle to do a pad change. And as I lift it up, I'm still in the upright position. And this only is maybe a third of the way full. So that will rotate with me as long as I'm, no matter what position I have the machine in. So I'm going to spray this down first to lubricate the carpet and the bonnet, start the cleaning process. I'll center my machine over top, obviously, and my handle's already where I want it because it's already adjusted. I take off my safety lock-off switch, and this machine is just very smooth, very quiet, very easy to operate. I'm actually going to lower this handle just a little bit. There we go. Now this is actually, since I built this machine, this is the first time I've actually run it. And you can hear I don't have to raise my voice to talk over it. It's very quiet, it's very smooth. I have my bumper wheel, so if I come up to the wall, I'm not going to ding up the wall. I can just roll right down it. It's a really nice feature. It's on both sides of the machine. That pump is pulsing just a little bit. I can adjust that so it comes out smoother. That makes it a little quieter and will also make the flow a little more steady. Nothing wrong with it the way it is now, but I can tune that so it's just a little bit better. And if you look at the lights, we get that illumination that tells us our pump is working fine. We have the green light for our motor. On the production units, there'll be an LED in the pigtail, and there'll also be an LED in the end of the extension cord, so you don't have to search. So you know immediately if your if your outlet's live or not, because you'll see the power in the cord. Let's just finish this off a little bit. And again, this is just so quiet. You're not going to worry about somebody below you with the machine shaking and vibrating and causing noise that might disturb somebody else. You could pretty much run this in a library if you wanted to, and you wouldn't get any grief from anybody. So very smooth, very good contact with the carpet also, and that's important because if your head weight is too light, you won't have the push-in to reach deeper and further into the fibers to do a better cleaning. Whereas this has a really good amount of head weight, gives it smooth, it makes it very stable, and then it also improves the cleaning performance. Especially if I put a multi-brush on here, it's going to penetrate even deeper with the bristles. Carpet looks fantastic. This is, what is this, about 17 years old, this carpet is. And the machine looks good, the carpet looks good. And I'll do a full production video in the future, but I wanted to do kind of this teaser video in the meantime just to let you see what we're doing. We're hoping to have the first 10 in January of 2023. We will be offering them because we'll have limited quantities to Bonnet Pro customers that have been loyal with purchasing chemicals and pads. They will get first dibs on machines over new people coming in just to promote loyalty. And love to hear what you think about it. Any suggestions, any thoughts, comments, let me know. Appreciate it. Bye-bye now. So one of the things that I really like about this design is how solid the machine is. A lot of machines, they'll have one connection point at the bottom and the handle will wobble, it'll be floppy, it'll make noise. And this, with its connection points here and here, and then also on the axles, and with this big joint up here that connects the handle support to the handle itself, this machine is like a solid piece of metal. That's my cord tapping, or the plumbing tapping there. But the machine itself, it just is so solid. And that's like a fine car. What it translates is into better performance, a better feel, more enjoyability of using the product. And I think you guys are really going to love the quality features that I put into this design. And I love using it, and I think you will too.